Vaseem Khan is a really nice guy and a very talented writer. He writes a really unusual detective series set in Mumbai in India. Whole different world, whole different kind of policing, whole different kind of villains. Hope you enjoy.
The best piece of advice that I can think of is to have a conversation with your character regularly. My lead character is Inspector Chopra, an Indian policeman, and I think I try and have an imaginary conversation with him every now and again to understand how his mind works. And I think if you create a character that you can't have that conversation with, it's going to be very difficult for you to write about him. Well, I'm up to 4 books in my series now, but I do have, and like most authors, I feel that I'm improving as time goes by, but I have a fondness for the first book, which was The Unexpected Inheritance of Inspector Chopra. And the reason is because I lived in India for 10 years, came back to the UK, I knew I couldn't go back, and I wanted to put all of those wonderful memories of India into a book. It had to be a crime book because I love the genre. And then I decided, because I thought that I'm never going to get published because it'd been 20 years of trying, to just make it for myself, very unique to myself, and I gave the lead character a baby elephant as a sidekick. I didn't think it would appeal, but I knew it was something different, and in the end it's worked out really well for me, and I've been as surprised as anybody else at the book's success, so it's got a fond place in my heart. I read a lot. I read a book every 4 days or so, and I read crime and literary fiction, and I find that I quite like a book that's written with good prose, but I like what some people call urban poetry. So someone like a Michael Connelly with his Harry Bosch series, or Cormac McCarthy in the literary world. So very quickly, within a few pages, I'll get a sense of the kind of writer that I'm with. And a good hook is a good hook, whether it's literary fiction or crime fiction. And if you don't encounter that hook very quickly, I think you're going to quickly tire of a book. I'm an insomniac, and the only use that I've ever found for insomnia is to be able to wake up at 6 in the morning and bash out a couple of hours. I write on the train to work as well, but the best place I've found to write is the cricket field, because I play cricket and I'm an opener and I tend to get out very quickly, so I have the rest of the day to sit around with a laptop and write. Well, my books are often compared to the #1 Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall Smith, which is very flattering when reviewers do that. But I personally think my books are what I call gritty end of cozy crime, because Inspector Chopra is a serious man and there are serious crimes that he's solving, and I do add a dose of humour. So those books particularly, but also I set them in India, and the best book about India that I've ever read is Salman Rushdie's Midnight's Children, which looks at the Indian independence through 3 generations of an Indian family. That's wonderful. I love the movies, and I tend to go to the cinema once a week, with or without the missus. And I particularly love movies that are satirical, dark satires, and I've just recently watched a movie called Get Out, which is a comment on race relations in the States wrapped up in a horror film. And I really recommend that, and that's the kind of thing that I'd like to watch very, very regularly. I wrote my first book at the age of 17, Peter, and this was my Terry Pratchett phase when I was trying to write sci-fi, fantasy, comedy, because Terry Pratchett made it look so easy. I sent it in, got my first couple of rejection letters, and I still remember how furious I was. I spent the next 20 years writing another 6 novels across different genres, all rejected. And so I was as surprised as anyone when I finally got a 4-book deal out of Hodder for this particular series. So yes, always wanted to be, and finally living that dream. So I've had a real job for most of my life, and I've been a project manager and management consultant, so I am quite meticulous about planning, and I'll have a massive, people call me the Emperor of Excel because I have a massive spreadsheet, and that's where I'll do my plotting, and once I've thoroughly plotted something, then only will I start writing, and I find that the easiest way to be able to make sure that I don't encounter writer's block or anything of that ilk. Well, back when the cloud was just those white fluffy things in the sky, I managed to lose 80,000 words of a novel that I'd been working on for a couple of years. But thankfully it was very good for society that happened, because it was one of the worst things I'd ever written, and it was about aliens in the White House. And you can read into that what you will, given modern circumstances in America. Well, the real purpose of my books, the Baby Ganesh Detective Agency series, is to take readers on this journey to the heart of modern India, to put you on the streets of Mumbai, give you an idea of what it sounds like, smells like, tastes like, feels like. And if I can do that, and I think I've been successful, and my lead character is someone who cares deeply about the social ills and inequalities of India. So there's a backbone of social commentary that runs throughout my series. Well, I don't often get stuck, but if I do, I think a great big bowl of ice cream and put the cricket on the TV tends to loosen up my brain cells. Okay, so I'll talk about the fourth book in the series because that gives a flavour of where I'm up to. So it's called Murder at the Grand Raj Palace. And in this one, Inspector Chopra has now got his agency up and running. He's solving crimes, his baby elephant. He's understood how to look after his baby elephant, sidekick. And in this one, an American billionaire dies in India's most iconic hotel in Mumbai, and Chopra is called in, and as he works his way around, he discovers numerous guests who might have wanted to harm this man. So it's an Agatha Christie-style mystery set in this iconic hotel based on the real Taj Palace Hotel in Mumbai, which came about a century ago when India's richest man was denied entry to the nearby Watson's Hotel because of its whites-only policy. And he vowed to build a hotel more opulent than anything that the British had ever seen. And so I thought it would make a wonderful setting steeped in tradition and history for this Agatha Christie-style mystery.
Thanks so much, Vaseem. It's great to meet you, and I wish you tons and tons of success.